This is All Things Cheryl here, coming with you for a review and a recap from Greenleaf, Season 2, Episode 13, and the title of that is The Father's Will. Lionel comes over to the bishop's house to talk to Lady May and the bishop about what he have found out when it comes to Arion and his gayness. And apparently it seems that Lionel was very, very nervous because he went on to apologize, and the bishop said, well, get on with it. What do you get on with what you got to tell us. And so the bishop said, I found out that Arion is gay. And he went on and asked the question, did you know that Arion was gay? And Lady May and the bishop said, no, we had no idea. But Lady May said, if I had known that Arion was gay, I would not have put them so close together, when it came to me giving him a room in the house. And so the meantime, we're on the other side of town, and it's morning, and we see Carissa coming up out of the sheets, coming with her head up. And it seems that Carissa has been giving special attention to Jacob's private parts. In other words, she went down on him, gave him a blowjob, sucked his little dick, sucked his little wee-wee. And so apparently, you know how that is. She gave him fellatio, is the proper word, fellatio. And so, you know how that is. He's feeling all good and everything. And basically, Carissa is really a power-hungry kind of person. So she's going to basically do what she needs to do to get her way, and knowing that she is becoming to be, the First Lady of Triumph. And so Jacob asked her, says, well, what is your itinerary for today? And so she gets on the phone and she calls her school, where I think she's the principal or she's running the school or whatever. And she tells him, she says, look, I am going to be coming in later on, but if you need to reach me, you can basically call me by my cell phone. And that's how you could get to me. So she hang up the phone. And so Jacob's like, oh, okay, well, if you want to come. She says, well, why shouldn't I come? And she says, I need to come so I can set the tone for the First Lady. And I'm saying to myself, all right, here we go. Power hunger, power pusher. So we go in, we dealing with Carissa, getting ready to shake up and mess up stuff. But anyway, then we go in and we see that Charity is, paying some attention to Nathan, taking some time out with Nathan, the baby, and she's having a conversation. So apparently we find out that the conversation that she's having with is that she's talking to Jabari. And so Jabari tells Charity that, I have some news for you. And Charity says, well, I hope it's about my song and everything. And so that's when Jabari says to her, well, it's more than a song, it's better than a song. Then later on we go back over to the church, and we're at Calverton, and we see that Arion and the bishop are basically together, because they're getting ready to go in and have a meeting with Aaron's father. And so the bishop is telling Arion, he says, well, let's just go in and see what's going on. Let's just let the Spirit move us and everything. And so Arion, I like this thing about Arion. Arion is pretty much stable. He pretty much know who he is, and he has been there for not one day. He has been, a gay man for quite some time. So he's pretty stern on how he feel about himself. And so that's when we go back at the house. In this time, we see Charity, we see Grace, and we see Lady May. And Charity is basically excited and everything is because she heard some news. And the news is that Parliament, I guess her last name is Parliament, I'm not quite sure, but Parliament wants Charity to go on her tour. And the tour is basically is going to be for about 2 weeks, about a month, 2 months, 10 weeks, I think. Yeah, 10 weeks. So about 2 months. And so Charity goes on and she asks her mother if would it be possible that their maid, which one of their favorite maids called Marisol, if Marisol could basically accompany her to help keep Nathan and everything. And of course Lady May was not really for it, and she said, well, I don't know, that's not a lifestyle that you really want to do, because I remember when it used to be Grace and Jacob and the bishop and myself, and we were having a horrible time. But basically you pretty much made up your mind, you pretty much going to do what you want to do, so basically go ahead and do what you want. Basically go ahead and do what you're going to do. So in the meantime, we're back at the office again, and we're back at Arion and the bishop and Lionel. They're having a conversation. And so Lionel is basically quoting scripture. And so Lionel was basically getting upset. It's because Lionel was quoting scripture, and Arion was also quoting scriptures, and the bishop was kind of sort of in the middle saying, yes, you're correct, and what you all are saying, that it's all in the Bible. But apparently what has happened, from what we can see, that the bishop is not really in compliance with Lionel. And Lionel is pretty much upset with the fact that the bishop is not in compliance with how he feels, because he thought that since the bishop and him are basically pulpits, they're preachers and everything, and they know the right from wrong, that he would have the bishop somewhat in his corner to kind of like gay bash the reason why Arion should not be the way that he is. And that's not it seems like it's beginning to backfire on Lionel. And so with the bishop in the middle, negotiating and listening, and so that's when the bishop was said, like, wait, time out. Let's take a few minutes and kind of, take some time. So that's when the bishop stepped out and he stepped away. And so in the meantime, this is when we see Lady May comes in, and she sees the bishop, and she tells the bishop, she says, I was getting ready to come to see exactly how you were doing and how it's going. And the bishop is telling Lady May, it's not really going that well. And so that's when Lady May called Bishop, and they sat over in a little private corner and everything. And so Lady May is telling the bishop, and he says, well, I'm just like really there and everything, and I'm listening to what Lionel is saying and everything, and some things I agree with it and some things I don't. And it seems that Lady May was kind of sort of getting upset due to the fact that the bishop was not really in the corner of Lionel, and as far as bashing Arion, due to the fact that he is a gay man, and that Kevin is basically their ex-son-in-law, and that him and Kevin now has an affair that's going on. And Lady May didn't really like the fact that, because if you remember back early in the season, she fired Carlton due to the fact that Lady May herself is a basher, a gay basher, and she's not for the gay lifestyle and everything. So, it would have seemed that if Lionel was looking for someone to be loyal to him and everything, apparently it should have been Lady May, because with the two of them, they would have really horned in on Arion. But due to the fact that did not happen, I think what's happening with the bishop is the fact that Grace got a hold of him last week, and Grace had a conversation with him, stating that, you know, Kevin was going to the church for well over 9 years, and he was basically trying to pray the gay away. He was trying to do everything to keep himself, you know, not swaying into the gay lifestyle. And I think that being that Grace and the bishop had that conversation early within the week, that kind of softened the bishop up, and he's actually really looking, and he's really, taking his time on it. Like he said earlier, let's pray about it. Let's let the Spirit guiding him. And so far from what I can see, the Spirit is guiding him because he is taking his time. In the meantime, we go over and we see that Jacob is having a meeting with his new staff and everything. And he's telling everybody, he's saying that everything basically will be the same. We're not going to change everything. We want everything to stay the same. But there is one particular thing that I do want to bring into, that's already in full blast, full mode. It's because I was doing this before I came, and I was doing this with my real church. And I want to bring this in. And that part is the homelessness. You want to add that into the itinerary. And so apparently the treasurer, who is the bookkeeper of the money and everything, Bridget, I believe her name is Bridget, came in earlier when Jacob was in the church by himself. And so Jacob asked Bridget exactly how did it go. And so Bridget said, well, it basically went pretty well. I didn't see any issue with it or anything. But she also said to Jacob, she said, look, for right now, I understand that you want to bring in your realness church and your outreach. But I would advise for you to, think about it, go real slow, and either, go for it or don't go for it. And I think that Bridget was basically trying to tell the bishop, look, he's not a bishop yet, but the preacher, Jacob, to don't do this homeless, program right now. And so Jacob was looking at her and saying, well, you know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to do my homeless outreach. That's what I was doing before I came here, and that's what I'm going to do while I am the head of this church. And so you can see that, the bookkeeper, the treasurer, was not really, in for it or anything. So we know that I think there's going to be some clashing of heads right here. So in the meantime, we're going back. Let's go back over to the church. Arion, the bishop, and Lion. Now, apparently, Arion is just like, look, I've had it. I'm going. I'm leaving. I'm not going to change for you. You want me to be somebody that I know I'm not. I basically, try to pray the gay way, and I'm not doing it. You can forget it. I'm not doing it. And so this is when he said, why can't you just change? Why can't you stop doing it? And the title of this is basically, here we go again. They getting it right on these titles. The title is The Father's Will. And what the will of what the will of Aaron's father is, do not associate yourself with the homosexuality lifestyle. I don't want it. I don't like it. And so Aaron's like, look, I'm out and I'm done with this. You're wasting my time. I'm done. And so that's when Lion said to Arion, I see now why your mother if your mother was here, she would basically be upset with the decision that you made. And this when Aaron laid a bombshell on his father. He told his father, he says, look, I told my mother that I was homosexual, that I was gay when I was 13. She knew that I was gay. It's because I told her that I was. And it was my mother's will for me not to tell you that I was gay because she knew you would not approve of it. She knew you wouldn't approve of it. And that's when Lionel went on to try to tell Arion that he was a liar and everything. And he says, okay, so what you're saying to me is that it's not okay for me to sleep with men, but it's okay for you to sleep with women, and a whole lot of women. And that's when Arion looked over at the bishop, and the bishop was like in the middle. It's like, well, what are you looking at me for? I don't know what's going on. What the deal? What the 411? What is the tea on this one? And he said to him, he says, I gotta go, because your sin is no more worse than my sin. You're sleeping around with a bunch of women, and basically you're quoting scriptures to me and telling me, what I should not do. And you married, and my mother knew that you were sleeping around, but she still forgive you, and you still kept sneaking around and sleeping. Look, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I see you later. I'm jet. And this is when Arion basically left, and he was like, I'm gone. I don't have nothing else to say. I'm deal with. And I'm proud of proud of Arion due to the fact that he stood and he basically called his father out and telling him that you're a little whore, and you're a little whore because the fact that you're sleeping with your so-called friend's wife. You're sleeping with her. And then not only that, my mother knew about it, and she forgave you of your bullshit. Excuse me, I'm going to do a lot of your bullshit. So Arion, I love you. You keep on. You go for it. Now Kevin, I don't know. You might want to have to get a hold of Kevin's little ass and tell him he basically need to kind of like ship out, or figure out what he going to do. Because you pretty much know where you are when it comes to your being who you are. And so we switch on over to Arion goes to Charity's office. But before then, we find out that Charity had no idea what was really going on. So we're going to get back to that. So let's switch over to the cotillion. Okay. We see Sophia, we see Zara, and we see Sophia's boyfriend, but Isaiah has not showed up. Isaiah is late to learn the two-step of this cotillion. So Isaiah finally shows up, right? So he comes in, and he's like, he got glasses and everything, and that's when Zara was like, whoa, I don't see no sun in here. Why do you have the sunglasses on? I think you need to remove them. So he basically removed the sunglasses and everything. In the meantime, they're learning how to do the two-step. While they're learning how to do the two-step, we have Carissa over at Triumph. And apparently Tasha was in her office, and a group of church ladies was over there, and they were telling Tasha, we're glad to see that you're still here and everything. And Tasha was, good, to see that she was still here, and she was happy that, you know, they didn't tell her that she had to go. And so in the meantime, there was a group that, no, Tasha didn't mind that. And so in the meantime, Carissa busts in and interrupts, you know, the ladies and everything, and you know the fact that they were happy that she was still, you know, in the church. And Carissa basically came in to ask to see if Tasha was okay. And Tasha said, "I'm okay and everything. I'm still feeling the fact that Basie has left, and he only took one pair of shoes." And I'm like, "What is this with this one pair of shoes?" And she says, "I'm basically walking back and forth around and everything around, and you know, in the condo and everything, and I'm just wondering, you know what's going on with him, and I'm just hoping that, I just hope that he's okay." Carissa was like, "Okay, I see that you're moping," but she's not really, I don't think she's only trying to be consoling because, that's, the first lady, that's what they're supposed to do. And so in the meantime, we're going to deal with Tasha and Carissa again. In the meantime, it seems that there was somebody here to see Tasha. And so I guess it was maybe Tasha's secretary or maybe be the secretary. And she said that she came into the office and she says, "First Lady." And so that's when Tasha and Carissa both answered at the same time. And so that's when I guess the secretary, the woman, said, "No, I'm not talking about I'm talking about the First Lady of Basie, Miss Gangs." And so that's when Carissa was like, "Oh, okay. Well, then let's go back over to the cotillion right quick." And what has happened is that Isaiah is making a mockery. Instead of him being with Zara, he's over there doing selfies and everything. And Sophia was like, "I'm not having this." Sophia got into his ass, y'all. Sophia got into his ass, and she told him, she said, "It looks like you pretty much forget that the fact that when it comes to women, you kind of got it backwards. Is that the women is the frame, and no, the women are the portraits, and you are the frame. But apparently, you kind of sort of got it backwards." And so that's when her and Isaiah got into it. And so that's when Isaiah said, "Okay, it looks like you taking the sides of your cousin and everything." And that's when Sophia's boyfriend wanted to interfere. And Sophia was like, "Look, no, don't say anything, and basically stay out of this. Is between me, Isaiah, and Zara." So Sophia got into Isaiah's little ass, and I'm glad she did. I like the fact that Sophia stands up, and that you can see that Sophia is Grace's daughter, due to the fact that she will stand up and she will say what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. But the fact that what happened was Sophia damaged little Isaiah's feelings. So Isaiah was all into his feeling and everything. So he stomps on out, and then this is when he says, "You always taking the sides of your cousin and everything. Who is it? Who you doing? Who you smashing? In other words, who you screwing and everything? Is it me or is it her?" I was like, Are you serious? I was like, "You kidding me, right? This is where you going with this little boy?" And he's basically, in my mind, he's a little boy. What the hell is going on with you? You are a beginner little womanizer. You is like on the edge, but when you get 25, 35, you're going to be firm. If somebody don't grab a hold of you and shake some sense into you now before you get out of hand. Because you're already out of hand. He got out of hand when he pushed Zara up against the pole because they were outside. And he really put his hands on her, pushed her, and pushed her on the pole. And this time she felt that. And that's when Zara said, look, get away from me. I don't want to deal with you. Move, get away from me. And this when you can always tell an abuser. This is when he started, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I'm so in love with you. And, you're the best thing. And now it's like, oh, hell. She's going to fall for this bullshit. So basically, she fell for the bullshit, y'all. She fell for it. He started kissing, so she fell for it. But let me tell you, I don't think that Zara is going to go to this cotillion. I don't think she's going. The reason why I said I don't think she's going, because remember last week, Isaiah had 2 tickets for a performance that he was going to be in, that his manager had, given him. And to please Isaiah's little me, she's going to go to that show instead of going to her cotillion. I hope you guys paid attention. I was like, yeah, she's going to go to, because she told him when they had that first little accident, he slammed on the brake and she had a bump up against her head. And she said, I don't want to go to this performance. It's the same day that the cotillion is. So in my mind, guys, let's see what's going to happen next week. I think that Zara is not going to go to this cotillion. Now let's get over to Darius and Grace. Darius has fixed a romantic dinner for Grace. And so Grace was very, excited at the fact that Darius has cooked dinner for her and for him and her. And she was liking it and everything. So, when you have a romantic dinner, you have conversation and you learn a little bit more about the individual who you're basically into it. And so apparently Grace asked Darius, says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And Darius says, well, I don't know where I see myself in 5 years, but I do have a bunch of material that's inside of this box. And I'm thinking I want to do a book. Hopefully I have my book done. And the book is going to be about Vietnam, my experience in Vietnam. And he said maybe a house with a little bit more land to it. And so that's when Grace says, oh, that's nice. She said, have you ever thought about having children? Darius looked at him and was like, no, I never thought about it. As a matter of fact, he went on and he did the same question to her. Have you thought about having children? And she said no. And he says, well, having children is a little bit too late right now. And then this is where he put on the smoothness, boys. He says, well, the only person that I want right now and is you. And we could do anything you want. We go anywhere you want. We could do anything you want. So apparently, I'm feeling that Darius really, really like Gigi, but I still have a little question mark in my mind because some shit is gonna go down. And I mean, he's making all the right moves. He's getting all the nook that he can get. So I don't know. But in the meantime, guys, Carissa and Jacob is having dinner. And they're eating and everything. And so Carissa and them was talking about Bridget, I guess the treasurer, and the fact that she has issue with homeless people. And so Tasha was saying, well, if you want me to, I'm first lady, if you want me to talk to her and everything, I basically can talk to her, Miss Diva, or whatever. She's afraid. The only thing she's afraid of is, the only thing she's good at is digital. And then I have a question mark with that. So that's when Jacob and Chris said, no, that's okay, we got it. And so that's when Tasha was feeling into her feelings. And they said, no, we got it. And so that's when Tasha hold her head down. And so that's when Jacob looking at as to what's going on with you. Why are you, you're feeling the way you're feeling right now. And she says, well, I'm just worried about him. Here we go. with these one pairs of shoes, guys. With this one pairs of shoes. And so Jacob is like, he was feeling some compassion for her. So he kind of, basically grabbed, Tasha's hand. And so in the meantime, while Jacob's was grabbing Tasha's hand and letting look, I'm there for you. I support you and everything, I want you to get through this. Carissa is like, oh, hell no. We're not having this. And so I'm saying to myself, oh, shit. See, Carissa, what's going to happen is you're going to push Jacob away is because you're so busy trying to be the first lady. You cannot be the first lady in the way that Lady May is. So you're trying to, compete with Lady May, and there's no way in hell that you are going to be able to do that. And Lady May is going to put you in your place, and like she put you in your place the first time, she's going to put you in the place the second time. But you got to learn the hard way. So in the meantime, guys, let's go over to the Greenleaf, and let's go over to, the mansion. And we see that we have Charity, we have Lionel, we have the Bishop, and we have Lady May. And so Lionel was basically really apologizing to Charity due to the fact that Charity has now found out that Kevin and Aaron is an item. And so Charity tells, Lion said, well, don't worry about it. I'm cool with it and everything. And so that's when Lionel started quoting scriptures again. This scripture, the writers this time, they're very good, but this time they were really honing in on the writing, throwing Bible verses and scriptures and everything. And then that's when we get down to Lady May. Lady May and the Bishop is just sitting and taking it all in, right? And so Lady May is basically getting kind of like tipsy. She's drinking and everything. And so that's when she went in on Charity. And she said, Charity, she says, look, I really don't want you to be going on no tour, riding in a pimp out tour bus, and you chasing love and you chasing behind Jabari and everything. I want you to have some decencies and everything. That's not the way of a woman supposed to carry herself. She's supposed to carry herself dignified and everything, and not chasing after some man and hoping that gonna find love, and you're gonna looking for love in all the wrong places, and you're looking at in wrong place of Jabari. And so that's when Lady May got into this quoting, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet thy wife, thou shalt not commit adultery. And that's when I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. You of all people talking about thou shalt not commit adultery? And you are committed adultery with your so-called best friend's husband. You slept with him. And you were going to leave your husband because you thought that you were in love with Lionel. And come to find out, Lionel was a little hoe. Lionel was sleeping with other women other than you. Right? Well, here we go. Let's roll over to the office. And we find out that Arion has come to talk to Charity about what was going on with Kevin and why Kevin became MIT, I guess, disappearing, nowhere to be found out of action. Can't find him nowhere. And Charity, let me tell you, girls, Charity showed her ass, but she had a reason why she showed her ass the way she did. Charity looked at Arion and she said, "May I help you?" And Arion looked at him. It's like he really couldn't say anything. He says, "I come to let you know how Kevin feels." And then that's when Charity tore to his little ass. She said, "Look, I really don't give a hoot about the fact that Kevin is gay." She said, "The only thing that I care about is one thing. And that's one thing only. And that one thing is that he abandoned his child. He is a father and he abandoned him." And she basically went on and put a scenario to it. She said that if the shoe was on the other foot and I was a queer woman or a lesbian woman, she used the word lesbian, I like to use the word queer. And she said, if I was a lesbian and I did the same thing, it wouldn't be right. The difference is that it would not matter with me, whether if I was gay or straight, the fact that I'm a mother. And I'm only concerned about my son having his parents there in the beginning of his little infant life, in which this is basically true. I mean, she had the right to feel the way, that she was feeling. She had the right. So let's switch over to Carissa and Jacob. Right? Carissa and Jacob's day has ended. And Jacob's coming in with his, he has his house coat on, has his little boxers on, has his little t-shirt on, and Carissa is in the bed doing some work with the laptop and everything. And so Carissa start talking to Jacob about, well, do you think that we could move Tasha from that office and put her down in the office that you had when you were the second pastor, the junior pastor, and put me in the office where Tasha is? Now you know why she wants to do that. It's because she's sensing something. She's not quite sure, but she's sensing something. So that's why she wants to try to get Tasha away from Jacob's, so he won't be so accessible. So Tasha won't be so accessible to Jacob, and Jacob won't be so accessible to Tasha. So she's trying to kind of like move things around. And so Jacob says, look, in due time, why don't you just chill the hell out and just let things work? It will work itself out. And so that's when Jacob took her laptop away from her. He said, look, I've been thinking about something all day long. And this is when he put his little body underneath the sheets. And so he was kind of like, hey, here we go. He was getting ready to go down on her and do it. The same thing that she did to him, he did to her. And so you could see that she really, you could look at it, you could tell if people are in love with each other and they're really into, no matter, how the love making and everything is going to go. If you really about your mate, you're going to basically, do what it is, So she's basically kind of like, she couldn't help her but to give in. If you do it right, you can't help it, So in the meantime, here come, excuse what I'm about to say, here come drunk ass Lady Mae with a glass of wine in her hand. And she's basically going in on Lion. She said, so you're basically telling me that I wasn't the only woman and that there were other women that you was basically sleeping around with, And here I'm getting ready to leave my husband because of you, and come to find out that you have been sleeping around with other women. And she asked Lady May, said, is it true? And meantime, she still got this glass of wine, and the wine is not, and she ain't dropped a drop of it. And she still, and he says, yeah. And he said, and then that's when she went into it and said, look, you're nothing, you're no one, you never be. And then this was when I gotta get it right there, because they would go up for tit for tat. And so this is when Lion said, wait a minute. Lion says, wait a minute. Your brother was a molester, and your husband, the bishop, he ain't no Rosemary himself. And so, and then if it wasn't for your queen, gay son, my Arion wouldn't be the one. And that's when she kind of like, pat. I think she either did a backhand or she did a forward slap, but you could hear that slap. The sound effects on that slap was like a good ass slap. And I was like, oh shit. And that's when she said, you know, you have no space in my life. I don't want to say. I mean, she said so much. That dialogue, this dialogue, the writers, they went off the chain. They were like going for it. I guess some of the writers was like had some stuff that they needed to work out, so they worked it out on the paper. And so before that, guys, I know we're going a little longer, but I want you guys to get, to get it all. I'm going to try to rush it. Is prior before that, when the bishop heard about what Arion had told his father about him sleeping around with other women, Lady May and him was getting ready to do this dinner. And I love the way the camera, the way they set it up, is that the bishop was like, and Lady May was in the mirror, and the bishop was putting like a necklace around Lady May's neck. And so the bishop started asking questions to Lady May about the fact that Lion was sleeping around with other women. And the bishop asked Lady May, said, did you know anything about this and everything? And you could see where he was pretending to try to put the necklace around Lady May's neck, but at the same time he was like watching her little ass in the mirror to see whether or not if she was gonna lie, or to see what the reaction was. And so of course, being a smooth operator like Lady May is, she kind of kept her composure and everything. But you could tell that the bishop is kind of putting two and two together. So in the meantime, we see that Grace, let's not forget Grace and Darius, they're getting it in. Grace is on top of Darius, riding the crap out of him. Right? And I was like, well, you get it in, do it the way you want to do it. So in the meantime, nighttime has ended and daytime, morning time has come. And the bishop and Lionel is getting ready to go back home. So the bishop tells Lionel, look, we're getting old and everything, and we need to really think about that we need to have our family and everything there for us. And he says that Arion is the only son that you have right now, and you need to kind of sort of make amends to it. And so Lionel was like, yeah, okay, I'll think about it. But, and you could see apparently that he really wasn't having it. And so that's when Lionel tells the bishop, And that's when the bishop tells Lionel, says, look, Lady May is not feeling good. Well, we know that Lady May had a hangover because she was so drunk to the fact, she couldn't even say goodbye. And probably she didn't want to see his little whole self anyway. And so Lionel says, could you do me a favor? And the bishop said, like, yeah, what's up? Could you tell Lady May that I said, I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to say goodbye? And so the bishop, like, looking at him and said, huh? What do you mean? And that's when it went off. Let me tell you guys, it's a little long. This was a little long, but I kind of wanted to try to get it in. I think I might have missed one or two things, but this is an hour show. They come on at 10. But let me tell you, it's getting ready this. This is episode 14. So I believe there's probably 2 more episodes. I think they're giving us 16, 15. I think they're going to give us 16 episodes. It's because we're getting ready to go into Queen Sugar. But I'm going to tell you, this is really, really good. I don't think, let me give you a short little smell. I don't think that Sophia, I don't think Zara is going to go to a cotillion. And I talked about that earlier. I think that Tasha is really up to something, because when the clips up for next week, we see a little bit, and we see that Macy is telling him to go for it, take everything you can. And I don't know what's going to happen. Guess who's coming back into the picture? Oh, sexy Mama Rochelle. And so the bishop, I don't know what the bishop's going to do. I don't know if the bishop going to try to get him some. I don't know if he's going to take the blue pill. I don't know if he's going to take the red pill. We're not going to find out until next week. In the meantime, this is all things Cheryl. And peace and love. And do what you can for the people who have been suffering with these hurricanes in the various cities and the various countries. This is all things Cheryl. One more thing. Click, subscribe, notify, and share. Peace out, and one love.